They say the doll was made from the hair of a dead girl, the thread soaked in river tears, and the button stolen from a coffin. But that's only what the wind says. And the wind, in that village, has a habit of lying. Tommy had never seen a doll like it. Its eyes were two different sizes, one big and glassy like it could see the future. Its smile was crooked, wide, forced. Like it wanted to be loved, but didn't know how. He found her buried in the roots of an old tree, after the children pushed him into the bush and laughed when he didn't get up. The ground was still wet from the morning's rain, and when Tommy pulled the doll free, something cold trickled down his wrist. Blood, maybe. Or sap. Or memory. He didn't scream. Tommy never screamed. He just looked into her eyes and whispered, "You can stay with me, if you don't leave." That night, the first whisper came. Not from the trees. Not from the house. From inside the doll. "Thank you," it said, in a voice soft as dust. He thought it was a dream. But in the morning, the girl who had tripped him, Amina, didn't come to school. And when they found her, her eyes had been missing. Just empty lids. Like someone had scooped the fear right out of her. They said it was a wild animal. But Tommy knew better. The doll had shifted in his bed that night. Not moved, shifted. As if it was breathing beside him. The second whisper came 2 days later. "I saw what they did to you." And that's when the dream started. Tommy would wake up with dirt under his fingernails. Leaves in his hair. Once, even a feather clenched in his fist like he had fought a bird in his sleep. But the doll remained still, smiling. Mama Saad saw it once and crossed herself 3 times. She didn't touch it. She didn't speak. She just looked into Labubu's crooked face and said, "That thing carries pain." Tommy didn't care. Pain was the only thing that ever stayed with him. That night, it rained frogs. Not water. Frogs. Labubu laughed. Not out loud, but somewhere inside him. And Tommy, for the first time, laughed too. By the time the third whisper came, Tommy had stopped being afraid. "Do you want them to stop hurting you?" That's what she asked. And the silence in his heart nodded. At school, Fola threw a stone that split Tommy's eyebrow open. The others laughed. Blood ran down his face like red tears, but Tommy didn't cry. He only looked at Labubu, tucked in his bag. That night, something answered. They found Fola stuck in a thorn bush behind his father's farm. Naked. Shivering. Scratches across his skin like the claws of 100 small hands. He kept whispering one thing, "She smiled at me." The adults said it was madness. But Mama Saad knew. She found Tommy sitting under the tree where Labubu was first uncovered. The doll lay in his lap. Still. Watching. Mama Saad didn't shout. She knelt beside him, and spoke with the kind of fear only old women carry. That doll was not made, she was summoned. But Tommy didn't answer. Because Labubu was already speaking, soft, cold, inside his head. "She remembers you. From before the womb. From where the pain began." That night, the drawing started. Tommy began sketching things no child should know. Circles. Eyes. Bones that floated. Children without mouths. Pages full of red spirals that never ended. His room smelled like wet leaves and old fire. And Labubu? She began to move. Not when people looked. Only in the moments between heartbeats. A tilt of her head. A shift in her arms. A smile, wider. And then came the night when the air changed. There was no breeze. No birds. Just breathing. But no one was there. Tommy woke up with soil in his mouth and blood on his knees. Labubu sat on his chest, eyes gleaming. She whispered one word. More. They say Labubu doesn't steal souls. She collects the forgotten pieces people throw away. Tommy stopped talking in school. Not because he couldn't, but because the words no longer belonged to him. The teacher said he was losing himself. But he knew, he was becoming something else. He no longer walked to school. He drifted. Like smoke. With Labubu always close. In his bag. In his hand. In his breath. Then came the girl. Nobody remembered her name. Just that she wore a blue dress and had eyes like rain. She came to school one morning, and by break time, she was gone. Gone, except for her face. It was drawn on Tommy's notebook. 2 eyes. A nose. A smile. That same blue dress. Drawn in red ink. Only red. The teachers asked questions. Mama Saad came again. She didn't speak this time. Just looked at the notebook, then at Labubu, then at Tommy. And in that silence, something inside the room cracked. That night, the girl's parents knocked on every door. Screaming her name. No one answered. Not the neighbors. Not the spirits. Not even the trees. Only Tommy heard. A soft voice under his bed, "She was laughing at you." He didn't cry. He just turned, and saw Labubu sitting on the window ledge, smiling, with something blue caught between her fingers. They say a child's pain echoes louder than thunder. And if no one hears it, it finds something that will. Tommy had stopped sleeping. Not because of nightmares. Because the dreams were beginning to feel more real than the day. He would wake up with sand between his teeth. Water dripping from his ears. Once, a torn braid clutched tightly in his hand. And still, Labubu smiled. She no longer needed to whisper. Tommy could hear her in everything, the rustle of leaves, the creak of chairs, even the sound of his own heartbeat. At school, the children stopped looking at him. One boy said his shadow moved when he didn't. Another swore he heard giggles from Tommy's bag, even though it was empty. But it was never empty. She was always there. The girl in blue was never found. Her name erased from the register. No prayers, no calls, no dreams could bring her back. And then, Tommy disappeared too. One morning, his bed was cold. His notebook lay open, a single drawing on the last page. It showed a large tree. Roots wrapped around something small. A boy, and a doll, buried together. Mama Saad was the first to understand. She followed the drawing back to the bush, the cursed tree. It had grown taller. Thicker. As if fed by something. At its base, freshly turned earth. And on it, Labubu. Sitting. Waiting. Her eyes no longer mismatched, both wide, glassy, full of memory. Her smile, not cracked, but perfect. Too perfect. Mama Saad knelt and whispered, "What did you take?" But Labubu didn't answer. She simply lifted one hand, the one that used to be missing a finger. The finger was back. Because something else was gone. From beneath the roots, a small voice echoed. "I'm not alone anymore." And the wind stopped. Not stilled. Stopped. No breeze. No birds. No time. Just silence, holding the world still, like breath before a scream. They buried the tree that week. Burned it. Salted the ground. But 2 nights later, a baby cried in the village. And the mother found a doll in the crib. And a single note beside it, "I like this one better."